Hello everyone and welcome back to another Be Connected session. I am with you as always, your host. I am Emily and I work at the City of Marion Libraries. Come visit me. Today we're talking about Libby and Press Reader, the apps you get with your library card. Free access, unlimited to some extent. We'll go into that and always exciting. So we'll just hit go here. I've got my cat again. Keeping things exciting. We'll start off looking at the Be Connected website. This is where I get all my information from. This is where I structure these presentations off of. So we'll jump onto Be Connected, or at least I'll give you all the cool tidbits, the rundown. We'll ask, what are Libby and Press Reader? What are the apps? What are they good for? We'll ask how to access these services with your library card. Yes, it's all free with your library card. I'm sure most of you have already given them a go, and if not, today is the great day to do that. So let's get started. Good things to know and get how to get the most out of Libby and Press Reader will be how I finish up, meaning I'm just going to skim through the apps and show you some cool tips and tricks that you may not already know about. And then we'll have time for questions at the end if we have any left over. Excellent. Let's go. I make these, I forget what animations I popped in and I just love that. So let's talk about Be Connected. It's a government initiative to get every Australian online, get everybody confident in their online skills, feeling happy using internet forms, things like that. It has an expansive topic collection. As you know, we're covering things like Libby and Press Reader, but it goes into more detail into the very beginner level courses, things like what is a touchscreen, how to use a keyboard, things like that, moving all the way into using Press Reader and Libby as we are today. It is an easy to use website and you can sign up to keep track of your training. I love Be Connected. I jump on there all the time, not just because it's part of my job, but because it is a really lovely laid out website, great graphics, great videos. And if I ever miss something, or if you think that something needs a bit more, need more time with something, jump onto Be Connected. It's going to be on there and in a very clear, exciting format. I just try to add a bit of extra, if only cat pictures, as I've got here today. All right, so let's ask, what are Libby and Press Reader? These are free to use with your library card. These are essentially services that have been purchased by the South Australian Public Library Service, and we get access as part of the library. We are Marion Library Service, of course. Libby especially is to browse your books, so eBooks and audiobooks, any kind of digital format of book, including magazines now. That's somewhat new. And it's essentially like having your own library card and then popping it online in the digital format. The idea is that you do have a limited amount of holds you can place, limited amount of items you can have out at once. I believe it's 10. I can double check on my iPad here, but I was looking at it today. I think it is 10. And you get 21 days to read an item and then it returns automatically. Nice clean system. Has a very cool hold system, which I appreciate. Putting books on hold with physical items, at least in your library, it's harder to estimate how quickly they're going to arrive, depending on how many copies we have, where they're coming from, and if they've already got, if they're already borrowed out to people, it might be hard to tell when it's coming through. But with this, it has a brilliant system where it can estimate to the day when it's going to arrive. So not like a couple of weeks, it'll say, you know, the 15th of October, it will be here, sort of thing. And then we'll look at Press Reader, which is an international distributor of magazines and newspapers that South Australian Public Library Service, SAPLS, has subscribed to and is available in a web page version or an app. So I'll look at both of those. I do prefer the app myself. So we'll look at that in a bit more depth than the web page, but the web page is easy to bring up for myself here when I'm sharing a screen as I am. Excellent. So that is what Libby and Press Reader are. They are apps that let you view digital content and they are very, very good. So let's jump first into Libby. So Libby is a place to borrow ebooks, audiobooks, and now magazines. I just checked out the magazines today and I really like how clear and flowy it is. If you're used to using Libby, you will appreciate the magazine feature now if you enjoy reading magazines. Press Reader definitely has it down pat in terms of a fully fleshed out system, but I kind of appreciate the simplicity of the magazine viewing in Libby, even though there are fewer magazines to choose from, of course. You can borrow an item for 21 days, as I've mentioned before. They'll return automatically for you. You can place an item on hold, and Libby can give you an approximate date when it will arrive. Stream books over your Wi-Fi or data connection, or download it to read and listen offline. I was doing this today. It's very good to, well, I appreciate being able to download it and then turn off my data, If I want to have it on Wi-Fi, I can. I can even turn off my Wi-Fi, and then I can read the book offline. This is great for things like car trips, airplane rides, bus trips, any form of travel where you're just happy to sit but don't have a connection to anything. It's brilliant for that. Keep in mind though that it will still use the same amount of data or Wi-Fi usage in order to first initially download it and save it, and then after which point it'll have been fully downloaded. If you were to stream it, which is the other version, which of course is a continuous download where it just sort of streams small chunks as you're reading it or listening to it if it's an audiobook. So it will use the same amount. I just appreciate the solidness of having something pre-downloaded though. So I would appreciate, that's what I recommend at least, having it fully downloaded. However, if you're not sure if you like the book or the audiobook and you just want to give it a go, streaming it is just fine because you only ever have to download a small chunk, and then if you don't like it, it won't have used all that data to get the whole book downloaded. Books and audio files are still quite small in terms of data usage, so you shouldn't be too worried about downloading several books. Again, it's more that audio format that's moving into being a larger data size, meaning it'll use up more of the data you paid for, but it's still fairly small, especially if you're considering that maybe you have a Netflix account or a subscription to something with video format that is very, very high. That's getting all the way up there. That will be what you use the most of your data on. But audio and text mediums like these, very, very small. So if you're anxious about how much data you're going to be using, you can always just stick to books. Books are very, very small. Nothing you're going to really notice that much unless you read a few hundred, I suppose, if you're an avid reader. There are some of us here that read this much. Okay, so that's Libby. Let me jump into, and I would show you on this screen. However, it doesn't come in a desktop app form. You have to view it on a device as it is intended. So let me bring it up here. Sorry to make you all wait. I have this preset. Okay. Here we go. Let me just share my screen. It's all going to work. It's going to flip it this way as well. If it wants to behave, which it doesn't want to, it seems. Okay, here we go. Bloop, bloop. Oh, I double clicked. Hey. I think this works. Thank you all for waiting. I should be chatting while this is happening. Haha, there we go. This is the screen I'm viewing on my device. It's all very high tech that we can see this. So let's jump into Libby first. Click. All right, I'm on my shelf currently. What you'll see with Libby is that your collection is made up of your library and your shelf. So on the left side and the right side, I'm pointing the different way on my screen because my view is mirrored. However, left side the library, right side the shelf, it'll come up with what it's asking for. So what you want. So library will be where you find collections, you find books, audiobooks, magazines. Up the top is magazines because of course that is the new thing that they've got added. You can explore, scroll through. I've jumped onto something Earth Almanac here just because it was both pretty and brand new. So I had clicked on it and I've borrowed. So this one I've already checked through. I chatted with someone today and they mentioned that not every book has a synopsis or a blurb, as you can see here, noted nature writer Ted Williams, etc. I believe we were trying to figure out why this could be the case. I think that maybe just some entries aren't fully complete. We do have a lot of digital content uploaded. I believe it's weekly. I'd have to check with PLS, but they're always constantly putting things up. They love getting requests. So if you ever find that we don't have something that you want in ebook form and you know it exists somewhere, we can get it a license for the copy of it and have it popped onto Libby here. So please don't hold back. You're welcome to ask us a whole bunch. We tend to keep in mind that we prefer newer titles generally, not too many titles from one author if they're not writing in a series, for example. But otherwise, we're pretty happy to take any suggestion. So we'll let you know if we can get it in, if we can't, but it's an easy system for us, at least on our side, to ask for digital copies. So please don't hold back. We'd love to hear it. First thing we'll look at though is your account. Now, when first logging on, when first logging on for the first time, you'll be prompted to it asks for which library have you come from, which library service do you go to. What we're looking for with us is South Australia Public Library Service. You could type in City of Marion, which I tried. It didn't come up with anything. So it's always going to be South Australia Public Library Service. So popping in South Australia is fine. It also has a feature where it can search your location and find your nearest library. Didn't work for me, but I think I just didn't give it enough time to try. But I knew to type in South Australia Public Library Service. From there, you'll pop in your library card number. That's an X0 number, all the way up to, I think, 9 digits. It's quite a long number. You'll have to read off underneath the barcode. But if you have a membership with any library within the state, you'll be able to get access. So even if you're not a City of Marion library member, you can get access to this. So from there, you'll pop in your PIN. Now for a City of Marion library user, it's your birthday in 8 digits. So day, month, year, 224. No slashes or spaces in between, and that'll be how you get on. If you can't get on, your PIN's not working, give us a buzz if you're at home, or come up to the front desk if you're with us at the library, and we'll change it. It's simple to fix up, and we'll just change it to something you can remember, or something that it should be, like your birthday. But if it's not behaving, we'll see what else is happening on your account. But otherwise, from that point, you get free access to all these books, to online content. We'll have a look now. So say we were browsing. Let's find something we like. Let's find a popular book. So this is doing a general search of popular titles. What we'll have a look at, okay, keep in mind, okay, here we go. I'll help you navigate here. First thing we're looking at, let's look at The Darwin Affair. This is on the far left in the orange color by Tim Mason. From here, you can have the option 2 on the first line, place hold, then read sample or tag. Tagging it adds it to a collection, so you know to look after it or check it out next time. Read sample or sample is, of course, just to read a snippet, usually a few pages or a chapter even. Placing hold, though, is the alternate to borrowing. So when you place hold, it means we don't have enough licenses to have it out to everyone at once. All of our licenses are being occupied. If I tap the little, here we go. If I tap the little calendar, it'll tell us how many copies are in use and how long the wait is. So with this book, The Darwin Affair, there are 65 people waiting, meaning 6 people are waiting per copy. So for you, it'll take about 12 weeks to arrive. Which is, I mean, fine if you've got lots of other things to read, but if you want to read it right away, it's not going to come in for about 12 weeks. Now, what happens with Libby, as I mentioned before, your items will be checked out for 21 days. I believe you can extend it if there are no other holds, but I believe the case is more that it would return it and then you just re-borrow it again. In this case, you would not be able to return it then reborrow it because it's going to the next person. If you were to return it earlier, however, that would speed up the wait time for someone else. So if you're a fast reader and don't need the 21 days, you read it in a week, you can then return it and then the next person, it arrives on their shelf early. For them, it sits on that shelf and waits. I don't know how long it waits there. It will come off eventually, but it'll wait on their shelf to be borrowed at that point. So it's being held, and then borrowing it is activating that 21 days after that. So for this one, it is 12 weeks is what you're waiting for in line. If you don't mind waiting, that's totally fine. It could be a little bit shorter, but the maximum, and it puts it at that point of, yes, if everyone waited the whole 21 days before it returned, you would have about 12 weeks to wait. So say if we wanted something like Fetch 22 by Dave Plicky. I should know that author. I just call them Dogman. So the Dogman series, it has a lot of positive reviews. As you can see here, we've got about, what is that? 4 4/5 of a star. Almost 5 stars. Someone's rated it a little bit low somewhere, but almost 5 stars for Fetch 22, Dogman number 8, it says. From here, you can see that we've got a nice borrow rather than a place hold, meaning that you can actively borrow it now. So let's press borrow. Here it says, oh my gosh, South Australia has 25 copies. One of them is available. I hit borrow. You come up with this here. I currently have 1 book on loan. Do I? I thought I had 2. Oh well. We have 1 book on loan. That's okay. I should clarify. Magazines are not considered on loan because we have an infinite amount to give out. I have a magazine and a book currently checked out to my account, which means that the magazines don't count toward that because there's no wait time for them. You can just pick them up, return them as you go, which is lovely. However, I have one other book, meaning that now I will have 2 loans. Let's hit borrow. Here we go. It's happening. We'll see how strong my connection is. There we go. And now we can see a little activated symbol for progress, how fast it's downloading. Is on the left-hand side here. It's not going very quickly, which I expect. I'm just on Wi-Fi today. Wi-Fi can take a bit longer than a mobile network. So if you're looking for speedy internet, jump on your mobile. If you don't mind waiting, pop it on your Wi-Fi because it's not going to cost as much, depending on the price of your internet plan, of course. So let's hit open book. Let's explore what it looks like to read a book like this. Pardon me. Now I've preset my text color, so this background page on the left here, to this nice sort of sepia tone, just because it's a bit easier on the eyes, especially with a screen, and I'll show you how to do that. The way to navigate these books is either to swipe with your finger, so this is what I'm doing here, to swipe, sorry it's not behaving, it's a bit delayed, either swiping through, this is really cool, to swipe through, or tapping the side of the page to get you to the other side, like so. Such a cool book. Otherwise, swiping will do. Now to get back to the menu, because of course it's all gone, it's just filling up the book page for the book. Just tap the center and it'll bring up all the options we have here. So first things first, at the bottom we have a symbol of the front cover so you know what you're reading if you ever forget. So you can click on that, it'll bring you back to the book you're reading. Oh, even tells you how long you've been reading the book. That's nice. I'm going to just drag that down. So back to our main menu. At the bottom we've got chapters, and we can actually just scroll through the book and travel. So say if we stopped here, oops, on page, looks like 30, if my finger will let me. Here we go. It just means it's the beginning of a new chapter. There we go, little chapter breaks here, 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 for example. Yep, here we go. And it'll count to the pages. This way you kind of have an understanding of how far into the book you are. I find that a lot of people, when reading a physical book, one of their main qualms with reading it digitally will be that I don't know how far I am traveling through the book, which I agree with. I love seeing my book, sort of my bookmark traveling down and going, only a few pages left. It's all very exciting. But this is another way to do that. You can travel through the book and pick up chapters as you go. This is a very cool book. Just in awe of how bright and colorful it is on a screen. Looks great. Okie doke. So from here, this actually may not work, because what I'd be doing is I can adjust how your page is viewed with all these top right symbols, as you can see. I may pick a book just to exemplify this, because this is all made up of lovely picture images that have been scanned. So now that I've got I'm back on the library side, let me jump over to the shelf on the right hand side. I'm currently reading Fetch 22, Dogman, but I've also got out The Earth Almanac, which is one of my 10 books. And then Bon Appetit, the magazine, is on the right-hand side. There we go. And again, that one has a due date. However, it doesn't count toward my total of how many books I have loaned out. So say I'd like to return, actually, I want to show you how good magazines look. That is gorgeous. Look at that. Amazing, gorgeous recipes. You can zoom. The way to zoom, and I'll show you this on this page at least, if we click on the center again, click on that magnifying glass in the top right hand corner, book. And from here you can, I'm sorry, that's not search, I hit the wrong one. I meant to do zoom. There we go, zoom, not the magnifying glass, the zoom. And from here it brings you in closer, and now you can navigate as though you had fully zoomed on the page. So you've got a recipe, ooh, an iced cafe. You can zoom in by pinching and pulling. So if you're not used to using a tablet, it's this action, pinch pull to zoom in and out, making everyone sick. So sorry. So that's the pinch pull to get zoomed in, zoom out. You can oftentimes double tap once again to return to the main screen and zoom fully out. I don't think I can change the font in a magazine. Not available. That makes sense. It is a magazine. So with books, they have a different format in that someone has fully or gotten the original manuscript or fully typed out the book, and then it has been translated or formulated for a computer page to work with, arrange as it will. Something like the Dogman comic and Bon Appetit have been printed with images, essentially just preset. There is some limited amount that they can adjust with Libby, things like making it, instead of 2-page view to single page view, if you're preferring to read it like so. You can see as my screen spins. There we go. Which will just make it easier to read as you go. So let's jump into a text book with actual words. Such a snob. A book with complex text. Here we go. So now you can see we've definitely got, if I just tap one over, oh, this one has pictures too. Oh, I'm so lucky. Okay, we've got two sides of text. Now I'm not totally sure of what the original format for this book is supposed to be. It's sort of written as a short story style, so it could have some very interesting formatting. However, let's adjust that. So let's tap the A symbol on the right hand side, which is where we can adjust text size, color, design, and a few other things. So let's first make the text a bit smaller. Very nice. Can I go even smaller? Ooh, that's cool. And then let's change the color. So dark theme is if you're reading in bed at night and you truly do not mind this view. Yeah, this is in a bit of a weird format. I could find a different book, but this is still good. This is cool. So this is great for reading in bed, for example. It will create, well, I don't think it's not a perfect black white, is it? It's more of a perfect and then a dull white. Maybe a grey is the word. Making it kind of easier to read in very dim light. That might be what you prefer. I actually might give that a try tonight and see how that goes. Sepia is my preferred color. It's got a lovely burgundy on the sepia off-white paper, I should say. And then bright white is what you're traditionally used to on a screen. I'm going to leave it on sepia. It's a bit easier on the eyes. Book design, you can change it from the publisher's default to reading it in the other version. Now this will change per book. This book has an interesting breakup of chapters and paragraphs, as you can see here. This is very nice to read. Ooh, language of chickadees. And you can even hold it sideways. There we go. That's probably more, oops, I'm holding up the wrong way. Typical. This is probably more of what you would read it as. This is definitely how I would read my books, unless you want to, I guess, stretch it fully out on the landscape would look quite good. So with this one, now I can tell this is going to be a bit small for me to read now that I'm holding it. Oh, look at them holding it in this direction. So let's hit A again. And let's increase the text scale maybe 2 notches. Ooh, okay. Almost, yeah, central. And from here, you can even change to several different formats. So we had it in Publisher's Default before, letting the text scale with that little switch. Switching it to legible. All of these override the original publisher's design, so it won't look the same way if you were to pick up a physical copy of this book versus a digital copy as we're reading here. If you were to pick up, say, the Scholar version, I know for a fact that the author wouldn't prefer that type of text, although it is very easy to read. It's very nice. Let me, oh my God, it's so cute. I'm so sorry, I'm getting so distracted. Okay. Text, last one to try. We've got open dyslexic versions. For those with dyslexia, have trouble reading, this makes it very easy and clear. So if you've got anyone in your life that requires dyslexic text, it's there available. And custom, oh my goodness, here we go. This is the exciting stuff. This is where we get to pick our own favorite font. I kind of like this very fancy version. You can change how it's justified, central, left. Let's see if you can notice it really. Left justification. Yeah, that's the difference. When it's a fully filled page, it's a little you don't notice it as much. Change the line spacing. Say we like very large lines. Let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah. Nice and easy to read. I appreciate that. Tap up A. Ooh, heavy font. Excellent. Everything is in bold. There we go. So if you're someone that appreciates the ability to update and change font sizing, you can do it here in Libby. So that's Libby. If anyone has a question about Libby or would like me to cover something else, something like popping a bookmark. Yeah, you got a bus. Tap. There we go. I've made a bookmark. So tapping the top right-hand corner of your page will create a bookmark. Can I do the left-hand side? Just the right-hand side. That's fine. From tapping the center of the screen will bring up your progress, and we'll show you at the very bottom, if you can see it, if I sugar down the bottom, you can see these two little bookmarks that I've placed. You can place another one here, for example. So now I'm on page 109, 110, tap. Again, just tapping the top right-hand corner of the page, and we have another bookmark. So if you are someone like me who misses just popping a bookmark in a book and knowing exactly where you picked up, this is it. However, Libby will remember the last page you visited. So if I've left now, the Earth Almanac, and you can see it at the bottom in my circle, that is what I'm currently reading. You can just tap the circle there to bring it right back to where you had left off, which of course was beside all my little bookmarks down here. Beautiful. Okay, I've covered a bit on Libby. I don't think I've got anything on hold. That's right. Loans, a nice clear. Let's return something, shall we? All right, Dogman had only one copy and I borrowed the last one. So to be done with the book, you can just hit manage loan. Ta-da. That's my library card. And you can return early. Oh, someone's waiting. Someone put a hold on it between now. Excellent. Return early. Return. Beautiful. And it leaves a little bouquet for returning early. How nice. Let's go back to my shelf and it's gone. Beautiful. Nice and done. Let's return another one. Goodbye, Earth Almanac. You were excellent. Return early. Zoop. There we go. Of course, you don't have to return early. It will return over time. So in 20 days, this magazine will come off of my card automatically. I know no one's waiting for it because we have a technically infinite collection of magazines to view. But speaking of magazines, shall we go over to Press Reader? I think we shall. I had a wee bit to talk about of Press Reader on my PowerPoint. So let me bring it back over. Here we go. Da-da-da-da. Press Reader, your online reading companion number 2. It's a distributor of digital magazines and newspapers for free with your library card, much like Libby, but in this case now we're doing newspaper articles and magazines. All very exciting. The collection of magazines that you would get on Libby are far more limited than what you get with Press Reader here, over 7,000 to access in every other language. So not all just English, as you can see on my illustrated side here on the left. I've just selected what is popular in Australia to take a screenshot of and copy here. But there's everything from every corner of the globe. Some very interesting ones out there for sure. It's considered an all-you-can-eat subscription service, meaning that you can download, open, view, listen to, which I'll talk about in a second, as many as many magazines or newspapers as you like. There's no limit. Normally you'd be paying, I believe it's about $30 to $40 for a subscription, but with your library card, it's free. It is indeed, because of course we've got Press Reader as a service that we paid for. So now you get it for free. Isn't that nice? It does, however, require a login to refresh once every 30 days. I don't believe it is monthly. It is 30 days. So every time you would log in again, updates the next 30 days. I don't know exactly why this is. We've not been able to figure it out necessarily. It is just how Press Reader works. It's not necessarily a library thing we can fix. However, what it's doing is just going, oh, you're still at the library? Okay, cool. You can have your free membership. I think it is trying to get you to have a paid subscription, which of course we don't want you to have. Use our free version that we've got here. You can do lots of things like save your publication, read back issues, set notifications for topics that you've selected, which I'll show you in a little bit. And you can even have Press Reader read your magazine aloud and more. So there's lots to see. First off, I'll explain how you would log in. So when you jump onto Press Reader for the first time, if you jump onto the app, as I am here, I'll show you in a bit closer there. Bring it to the home page. There we go. What you would do is you would say sign in or log in or sign up. And it begins off by going, where are you coming from? Do you want to sign up with your Facebook, your Gmail? I don't think Twitter might be mentioned, Twitter. Or would you like to sign up with a brand new account, putting in your email address and a password? If you ignore all of that, which you should, there is a button toward the bottom that says, or sign up with your library card. And it kind of like, it's like, if you want to. And I'm like, yes, please, yes, please. So what you'll do, you'll click on that. It'll come up with this side panel here, as you can see. You'll select your library. I tried looking up Marion Library again, didn't come up. So the library to look for is South Australia Public Library Network. You type in SA, it's going to pick it up. And then from there, you enter your library card number, and that's all you have to do. No PIN required for this one. You just sign in with your X0 number, and you're good to go. So now that we are good to go, let's jump over. I'll show you first what it looks like to view on a desktop, because I think it is somewhat inferior to the tablet view. So if you do have access to a tablet, please use that in comparison, but you can do it all on your desktop. Here we are. This is just Press Reader as I looked it up on Google. I've logged in with Emily Library. That's my username today. And I've just looked in art to start off with. If we hit this back arrow, we'll get to the first page. Here we go. Essentially, it'll cover featured articles, featured papers, everything current. So this issue was from today. All the newspapers are going to be updated every day or whenever they get published, but that's oftentimes you'll get a quick update essentially of what's going on in the world just by some news headlines essentially. Scanning through, you'll be able to see top magazines, and these aren't necessarily aimed at you necessarily to start off with. You have a whole other section of recommendations and browsing, but this is just what people are generally interested in your country, on Press Reader in general, sort of thing. So say we want to look at, I've got my publications here just to show up. This is what will come up on your home screen. We go, okay, what have you liked before? What have you viewed before? And then go, this one here it is sitting up here. So say, let's have a look. Say we enjoy, let's find a new magazine. Let's pick something in, say, music, rock folk. Here we go. So say if I want to read an edition of Rock Folk here, you just click on the image to begin with, and it'll bring up all the other back issues that they have left over. So the latest issues, if I click all, see all, we'll get quite a few. I've actually not checked to see how far back, maybe that is see all, how far back they have issues running back from. Whenever you scroll through this, it's not up or down, it is moving side to side. Though moving up and down with a scroll wheel would work. Wow, we're going quite far. Okay, so you can go, what year is this? Ooh, 20, okay, I'm gonna go, pardon me, as far back as I can. 14, okay, wow. That's very good. All right, I'm impressed, cool. So if you've had a magazine and in the past 6 years you've thought, gosh, I wish I could have seen that edition from 6 years ago. Yeah, it'll probably be there. Depending, of course, what it is. Maybe it doesn't have them. All right, let's have a look. So let's read. Now it tells me it's French. I'm not reading the I one. Here we go. I had been reading that one. Could this be? This is in French. How excellent. Very cool. See, you can pick up anything, really. Anything from any location. So we've got it all in French. So if you were a practicing French, for example, you're learning French, here we go. Time to pick up the language as written in a magazine. Very exciting. So we're scrolling through. I've just hit back in order to get back to this main screen. So it comes up with where it's from France, language, French. From this, you can get a few other options, including listen, which I think would be very cool. I won't listen to it now just because it'll only be in my headphones. What it will do, it has an automated sort of kind of Siri-like voice. If you've ever heard a computer speak back or try read text, they do their best to make the computer sound human enough that it isn't too jarring, but I find it's doesn't quite capture it. It's better than some that I've heard automated reading, but it's not the best. So say if I love this one, if I love rock folk, let's click on add to my publications. Gets a very cute love heart. Let's close this now. And let's jump back to, let's head over to my profile. In this top right hand corner, yours will come up first with the first time you log in, it'll just say nickname and have a series of numbers. I changed mine just to Emily Library in order to, so I know what I'm looking at. It's my account I'm seeing. There I am. And I've just added to my collection my magazines. I don't know if I have a spot for my magazines. Oh, so cool. So this is my own feed. I'll talk about feeds right now, I guess. So your channel feed, you can follow friends if they have Press Reader. This is a place where they can share. I'm following 3 magazines. I wonder what that meant. You can share articles that I've done here. An artist I like, Justin Gerard, he had an article in Imagine FX, as you can see, an art magazine, and I wanted to save that article, so I hit save, and I'll show you how you do that in a little bit. But it's come up on my home feed. It's come up on my collection of things I've liked, things I've collected. You can even pop in and create your own sort of article style posts, because of course when you're viewing it on your tablet or on the screen here, you can read articles or snippets in magazines. As you're seeing it here, it'll have the heading and then of course the author and then the text of what's happening. And then you can comment. So from a couple of hours ago, I popped these through just so I'd have something to see. You can comment on articles that someone else has written, shared, and it becomes sort of like a little social network almost that you can have. So if you're deeply into current affairs, magazines, news, you can have your own sort of collection that you can share of your favorite articles or interesting tidbits. So let's hit my following. These should be magazines, I hope. What? 3 following? I'm following guests? Okay, this is all very confusing. Let's leave that alone. Let's jump back to newsfeed, which you can either do from this arrow or this arrow. Let's just hit here. So this is what is currently happening, what's currently going on, and you can see your publications. I'm so sorry, I was about to sneeze. I thought, how rude to sneeze on all of my guests here. Terrible. So, I am following reporters. Okay, well that makes sense. Okay, so the followers on my page was what I was following, which were 2 other magazines. Makes sense. Okay, let's jump into publications that I've liked. So I can jump right in from here, or if I go back to my home feed, it'll have them on the front page. This is newsfeed. Will it take me to home feed? Let's see if it's gonna behave. Oh, it doesn't want to. Oh no. All right, I'll hit publications. Maybe this is considered the home feed. There we go. Now added to my publications is rock and folk. There we go. Imagine effects I've got here. So let me jump in. I want to show you now how you can save articles, things you've liked, as well as viewing them in a different text format. So if you prefer easily read text versus, however the magazine's laid out, you can. So unlike Libby, which had a very limited way of manipulating the text that you had in a magazine on Libby, you can now do much more here on Press Reader. So it's definitely the hub for it. It's definitely the place. So from here, let's just jump into a body of text. So this is image effects. Oh, pardon me. And we're viewing it sort of just like a flat lay of pages. It jumps to grouped pages like these. See, this is the contents. Let's jump to the article I had saved about Justin Gerard or Gerard. Now it automatically switches to text view because I've given it a click. I've gone, this is what I want. And it's taken me over to the page that I had clicked on. So at the beginning, let me jump back if it'll let me. Here we go. If you can see, and I may even zoom in a bit more for you. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I'm just zooming as I do on a laptop with 2 fingers. A scroll wheel would work here. All right, leave this be. From here, you can see all these articles and tidbits that they've popped up on the contents page. And the nicest thing about these magazines is that you can just click on it and you'll get to the page. No more searching, just click. So I'm going to learn about Lightbox Expo for this year. It was all done online, so that's always very cool to try something new. It'll jump now. Here we go to the main page. Nice 2-page spread. There's a few more over here I can see, all relating to Lightbox. Lightbox is essentially just a artist convention for showing off and selling art. Excellent. So this year it was held online, including live streamers popping up and saying hello. So you can see those pictures here. Now, this is all very crowded. I can zoom in to read, which is my preferred way because I like reading it in the format that it was originally printed in. However, if you're one that prefers a nice, easily read text, you can click on this text view button and have a full read. So say, okay, this is the article I want to read. Yep, Lightbox Expo. It gives you a nice beginning tidbit. We want to continue reading and it'll continue to flow through. Pardon me, I keep hitting right click without realizing it. There we go. And you can scroll through and read it as if it were fully meant to be digital, which is a very cool setup. I'll hit back page view. There we go, and we are back. So that's it on a desktop. I'll quickly go over it on your device, and then I think we'll head off because I'm always almost out of time, as I always am. Okay, beautiful. Let's jump onto screen mirroring. That's me. Here we go. So this is it on tablet view. Far more smoother, nicer, easy to navigate. So I highly recommend jumping on here if you browse for me. If you have the opportunity to get onto an iPad or a device, tablet device, I much prefer it this way. Oh, look how clear and crisp that is. So nice. There we go. So from here, you got at the bottom, much like Libby, a navigation pane where it can go through and you can see what you're looking at first before clicking on it. So let's see if I can't find Gerard's article. Part of my scrolling. Was he in this edition? Here he is. Very cool. Tap to open text view, press and hold for menu, press and hold for article actions. There you go. Oh, tells you how to use it. Brilliant. So this is a beautiful full spread. I want to zoom in, have a look at the detail there. Very cool. Very cool. And that's how you do it. Again, same swipe action to get to the next page, next 2 pages. Hold it vertically in order to view 1 page at a time, which is very nice. Learning how to color, paint. Scary alligator character. There we go. I'm trying to think, you can add topics as well. Topics is a bit harder to find. This is if you are following an event, something like maybe could be a movie coming out. You can add in topics to get notified about. So if I go to accounts, I don't know if it tells me here. Topics. Aha, my topics. There we go. So it's among for you on the left-hand side. I've added these yesterday. You can add in your searches that you can either, yes, check up on. Oh, last 3 days. Okay, nothing was printed in the last 3 days about this new game, Baldur's Gate. Yep. Musical theatre, anything written about? Yes. Yes, here we go. Very cool. Musical theatre. Yeah, so you can keep up with what's current, what's new by adding to your searches. It's very easy to add to those. You just add a search. So say if I want to hear about cats, because I love cats and that's just who I am. Roaming cats pose problem. No. Okie doke. Cats shed more than dogs. Amazing. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? From here, if you have selected cats, you've written down cats in the top right-hand corner, you can add it to your topics. You can, from there, pardon me, decide, here we go, what publications you'd like to search through, if there anything in particular, which language you like to have them in, all the bells and whistles, and then you can save. Bloop. And now cats is a topic that I will be able to check up on at any time. So that's one way to keep on top of everything, keep yourself informed. That is Press Reader. If there are any questions, please pop them into the chat and I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we've done our, haven't gone over time, but we have taken a bit of time out of your day. So all done for now. I will pause for questions. And I'll get right back with you. So one moment, everyone. I'll just do a quick pause. Okay, Lynn has popped in a question. It says, does Libby retain settings from one book to another, please? Yes, it does. I know this because just before I started filming, I had popped it onto sepia colored as my text. And after that, I had switched books, and yes, it had remembered. So your preferences are locked down. They know what you are preferring, and it's not going to change from book to book. It'll all be the same across all books. So that is my answer. I hope that was satisfactory. It does retain your settings. So yes, I think that's preferable to having to change them each time. So hopefully you appreciate that as well. You're welcome, Lynn, not a problem. Beautiful. Well, I think I've managed to cover everything. If you have a question, pop it in real quick, but otherwise, I think we'll be able to finish up for the day. First off, before we go, look at how we can stay connected with each other. We can now come in and visit the library. We are fully open, so come see us if you are able to come in. You can follow us on our Facebook or Instagram page. We are at City of Marion Libraries. You can check out our What's On page on the City of Marion website. You can subscribe to our Library Loop newsletter. That's on the catalogue site. We send out a new email every month. Or you can visit a branch or call us on 83756755. That is the Hallett Cove branch. If you want to chat with me, that's the number to call and you'll find me somewhere in the library. Excellent. All right, everybody. You've all been a wonderful audience. Thank you for sharing today with me. I hope we can all take something home with us, and I've had a lot of fun. I love using Libby and Press Reader. I love chatting about it. I love sharing it with people. So thank you all for listening once again. Thank you for enjoying. And now I will send you off on your way to continue your learning adventure. And I hope you join me next week. We'll be talking about either banking or buying and selling online. I get them mixed up. Either way, I'll be here next week, so I'll see you all then. Bye.